Hello, welcome. This is a special edition video on how hitmen operate. In the series Sopranos, many characters meet their demise in the series by a series of techniques the mafia often uses that aren't far from reality. These are valid techniques. Situational awareness is a must when traveling or lodging in any place. Here are some examples of how to avoid such situations and increase your survival chance, just to break down the most common ways or advanced ways that hitmen can neutralize their targets. So this is a series of sequences that will depict to you what common situations to avoid and what steps to do to take precautions that you don't wind up in a similar situation. Front doorways, back doorways, any entrances that may have walls or corners or concealment, you want to try to plug up those areas and make sure you have nothing you can stand in the way. Like you can't hide behind there like an object, because they won't be able to stand in there or crouch there or anything. You always want to be aware of that, because a crazy hitman will just wait around the corner, shoot you, and drive off in his car. So try to avoid that. This sequence is about restaurants and eateries. When you're sitting down in a while, any place that you can be stationary, you're gonna be popped up. It's gonna pop up a lot. You can't be around the stationary position for too long. So if you're eating in a restaurant, somebody could just come in, walk out, shoot you, drive away. It's a drive-by pretty much, and that's how they kill you. It's very simple. It's in and out. It doesn't require a master hitman. You want to take the food out. You want to maybe wait in your car, take the food out. Don't wait in the restaurant. Walk in and out. Driveways. You don't want to get distracted in the driveway. Somebody in the driveway playing around, talking to you, anything. Just don't stop for anybody. That's just another way they can peg you in the driveway in a stationary position, transitory position. Ambushes inside your house are the most popular. If they can lockpick the door, know somebody to let them in, they could just hide in your closet, hide behind a door, and they could just strangle you and nobody will know. Try to avoid these things. Again, I can't stress this enough. Jam up your spaces. Do not leave open space. Planning beforehand is very useful. You don't have to think about it. It's already there. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of headache. But most importantly, you won't have to think about it, because you're going to have to think about a lot of stuff. And if you're not a thinker, this is something to do right away. It's always the best to always pre-plan everything, so you don't have to think about it in the future. You don't have to worry about it. Very important. Here Christopher is shown with his business associate, and now former business associate, because he kills him, and it's a meat shop, so he could just get rid of the body. You can see all the setup there. He wants to eliminate him for whatever reason, so he entices him with some drugs, cocaine, for a good time. And don't get distracted. People will distract you with sex, money, fancy cars, jewelry, whatever. You don't want to get distracted. Awareness is always key number one here. Make sure you can trust the people you're around. They could turn you out. A lot of people are in it for themselves. So you got to protect yourself. Don't go anywhere where people you might have a doubt that you can trust. Carjackings. Random carjackings. You just keep moving. You don't stop for anybody. You don't try to get your car boxed in front or behind you. Always leave a lot of space. Professionals can scout out your routes, wait for you there, know what you're going to do if you get out, go to the convenience store, something like that. They scout you out, they study your patterns. So don't get yourself susceptible to that. Make sure you have a plan, make sure you want to know where you want to stop. When you go back into your building, if you live in a building, make sure you know everybody in the building. If you got some strangers in there, don't go close to them. Try to wait till they leave, because they could be camouflaged for something else. In The Sopranos, Paulie's bringing in a huge refrigerator or TV or whatever. He ends up ambushing his intended target at the door with his gun and a silencer. So always be careful who's around. Situational awareness is always key. Sleeping. You don't want to be sleeping in the tub or your bed or some other place without some barriers. They can't get through the barriers. They make a lot of noise. You want a barrier. You won't be able to react, and that's how the hitman gets you. That's the optimal time. They find out when you're sleeping. They don't have to do any work. They could just make you go unconscious and then do whatever they want to you afterwards. That's how they torture people. Or they could just shoot you. Yeah, well, your awareness, he was hiding underneath the porch, and he was able to get a cord and wrap it around his neck to kill him quietly. It's another example of situational awareness. Cracks and crevices and open spaces. You never want to get in between those when you're protecting yourself, so you can't get nobody sneaks up on you, basically. Concealment out in the open. In The Sopranos, he's holding a giant fish. He has the gun in the fish. He walks up to the boat guy and he shoots him, and then he probably just walks away or throws him in the river. You got to watch for people carrying big objects, briefcases, anything, newspaper. They can hide it behind a newspaper. Just be careful, you know. You can't have people walking around next to you out in public if you're a target that's carrying things around that they could possibly hide a handgun. Now, this is probably the most common tactic. When you go to a jogger's park, people get killed all the time. You're on foot. You're going to run out of steam. No matter, unless you have really good legs and you're a marathon runner, I wouldn't try it, because they could just hunt you down and shoot you wherever you go. They're always going to outrun you. They're going to have a car. They're going to have a motorcycle, whatever. They pre-plan these things. Don't go out jogging if you're a target. Try to limit that. If you ever got to go somewhere, use a bicycle. Use something at least to give you some mobility and speed. You don't want to go walking around. Drive-bys are another common example. They're the easiest to perform. It's probably the most common way they can kill you. Hitmen and gangbangers. They just drive up to you and they shoot you because you're probably stationary, or you're distracted going somewhere, waiting for something, walking slow. When you go somewhere, you got to be moving in and out. Go to your destination. Pay attention to who's around you. Always be on the move. Get in and out of your car as quickly as possible without obstruction, because they'll just shoot you right in the street right there. And that pretty much sums up this video.